Are we ready? It's going to be a busy day. And I'm going to get hot and sweaty and probably delirious again. Let's get to it. Okay, so today is, like I said, going to be a busy day. We are working on suspension, ball joints, hubs, rear brakes, and now I'm having to add power steering pump. Power steering decided it wanted to make some noises. So I picked up a new power steering pump, well, reman, because that's in the budget. Picked up a reman power steering pump, and that will be replaced today as well. We're going to separate the video out into multiple parts and pieces. That way it's not an ungodly long video. Power steering pump will be its own video. Hubs and ball joints will be their own video. Rear brakes will be its own video, kind of a shorty. It's drums, so maybe you younger folk have never seen drums. We're going to do that. And then suspension, I'm probably going to have to break it up between front and back, just depending on how things lay out. So we're going to be getting a lot of videos out of this so that I can give you guys lots of content over the next few weeks. If it turns out really well, I might bump it up and do one midweek or something like that, just to kind of get them done. So let's get to it. We're going to start with our suspension video off of this one, and then we'll do the hubs and ball joints, and then we'll do rear brakes. Cool? Cool. Let me show you what I've done so far. Obviously, the vehicle is up on jack stands, which that's the first thing you want to do. I'm going to cut to a short clip of some of the other things you want to do as a preparation for getting this part done. I'm going to be wearing a nice orange shirt, and yes, it was used as a Price is Right shirt. And it was hot yesterday, so don't mind the sweat. Today I'm wearing black so that you all don't see the Mickey Mouse again.
Step 1 when doing a lift, measure. That way you get a before and after. So, before, we measure from the bottom of the fender down to the ground. Mark that down, go to the rear, do the same thing. You can do it on all four corners, but it really doesn't make that much of a difference unless your suspension is broken. It should be fairly even. So, let's measure. I'll mark those down, add that to our paperwork. All right, so measurements done. And like I said, you don't have to do the driver and passenger side separately. I did because I wanted to see my discrepancies, because I know that this suspension's worn out. So let me show you what's going on, and then we'll add that at the end so that we can show the differences between everything, okay? So here's before, passenger side, driver side. Front, passenger side, rear, passenger side. Front, driver side, rear, driver side. So as you can see, there is a discrepancy. The driver's side is a little bit lower than the passenger side, on both sides. So there is something going on with the suspension. Again, I just rolled over 179,000 miles. I'm sure that plays a part in it. So we will add all that together, put it over on the after, and then see what it looks like after I get new tires too. And then the next step is to jack up your car. Who do I know that says that? Oh wait, it's more like jack up your car. Yeah. Mighty Car Mods, check them out. Great show. Okay, so I've already jacked mine up, put them on jack stands. The one thing you want to make sure is your tire doesn't touch. And guess what? My tires touch. But this concrete pad is not exactly level. So the driver's side doesn't touch, but the passenger side does. Oh, wait, no. Driver's side touches too. Oh well. I can't keep the sweat out of my eyes. So you know what? That's a tomorrow morning problem. Yep. All right. I'll see you in the morning.
Okay. So first things first. Over here on my table, which I have added some things to by accident, we have everything set up. Okay, these are all my parts and pieces. The power steering pump is in the back of the Jeep. And then over on this makeshift table, coffee and water, necessity. Borrowed tools. The air tools are mine, but the boxes are friends. It is a great thing to have friends when you don't have the tools you need. Yes, you can get some borrowed from O'Reilly, AutoZone, and Advanced. They cost money. When you're on a budget and you have friends that have all the parts you need, that doesn't cost money. Granted, they'll probably get some beer or something, but that right there is a huge help. I've got a torque wrench that goes up to 200 foot-pounds for my hubs because those need to be torqued at 170 foot-pounds. I have pickle forks in case I need pickle forks, and then I also have a ball joint press. And when I get to the ball joints, I'll show you exactly what that does and why it saves you so much time. Because a Jeep is a solid axle, you really can't take it off to take it to a press, which I have in that room. Granted, I can't see in that room because no power. Which leads me to my other point. Here's how I have the outside set up. Right now, as you can see, I have a fan running. That is the only electrical item working in this barn. Why, might you ask? We don't have power. I got a quote for the electricals, and it's going to be about $4,000. I don't have $4,000 right now. So that's going to have to get figured out, but we are going to be redoing everything. So, as you can see, I have an air hose hanging, and then I have a drop cord hanging right over there somewhere. Those are going back there. As you can see, my air compressor is out there, right there. So I ended up having enough electrical extension cords and enough air hose to run all the way inside and go all the way around the Jeep. See? Air hose. And it's got a little more slack to it, so I can actually bring that all the way around. So we're going to be using air tools. It's vital right now just to keep me moving at a decent pace because there's just a lot of stuff and big bolts and torque and uggas and duggas. So might as well bring my ugga duggas. Yeah, that. I might as well bring my ugga duggas. There we go. It's too early in the morning. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning, guys. The wife and children are gone. She is doing her first lemonade event today. If you ever are in the Middle Tennessee area and you see a tent set up serving fresh muddled lemonade, and the place is called Run By Fruiting, that's my wife. Today is her first event. I'm deeply regretful that I could not make it, but I have to get this fixed. There's broken parts on here, and we'll show them. So if you ever see it, give my wife props. Some of the best lemonade I've ever had in my entire life. And I'm not saying that just because I'm her husband. Legit, fantastic lemonade. Hand muddled, hand stirred, not stirred, shaken. Shaken, not stirred. Hand shaken, syrups, candies if you want. I'm not the big candy type. And the syrups, I wasn't big until I tried them. I'm a natural, just lemonade fan, but, fantastic. So, one of the things that I did do, but back to the Jeep stuff, one of the things I did do to kind of prep and make things a little bit easier is I went ahead and greased all of my bushings. So when we look, oh, good gravy, these are heavy. When we look at the leaf spring, there's a bushing here and a bushing on the other side. They're already in and greased and dirty, apparently, because, why not? So I'll clean that off and I'll re-grease that section, but they're in and greased. This part is already done. Saves me some of the extra work. There we go. Saves me some of the extra work to get that part done today. Because I got this weekend. That's all I got. Today, and if anything, food bars, tomorrow, and I got to be back at work on Monday. So I got to get it done today. I don't have a choice. So what we're going to do today, let's start with the suspension first. The worst thing is the ball joints. I have to get those done for sure. I have to get the suspension done for sure. If I don't get the brakes done on the rear, that's okay, because the fronts are working, the rears are working. They're just, I can tell they need to be replaced. You pull up on the handbrake and it's almost maxed out because the shoes, I'm sure, are worn down. So we'll get to that. If it's not this weekend, that's okay. It's not a big deal. You got to get the suspension done. Got to get the ball joints done. So, as I've said a few other times, let's get started. Problem number one of the day. I can't get it off. Time to get the big stuff out. Little rubber mallet ain't doing it. So this happens sometimes. You have drums with steel wheels. Even though the wheels were powder coated, the drums still create rust. Oh, I found a nail. That's fun. There's a nail in the tire. Over. So, what you have to do is apply force. Typically, you can just kick the sides, get it to break free, but it wasn't doing that for me. So then you get rubber mallet hitting it on the inside. It wasn't doing it. So, sledgehammer. Now, what you want to do with this is be sure not to hit the lip of the rim. You bend the lip of the rim, you have a risk of losing your bead on your tire. So first, I want to turn it sideways and hit the tire itself and see if I can break it free. Sometimes just the heavier force will do it. And that's a negative. So now, it's not how it's supposed to go with the first part with tires. You're supposed to just get them off like all the others. But no, it's got to be difficult. And don't worry if this looks dumb, it's because it is. Would you just let go, wheel? Then I can move forward to the next part. I know this is not as hard as I would like to hit it, but when you're laying down on the ground, you do what you can. That was solid. Are we getting somewhere? Probably not. Ah, missed. That's a bad deal. Yay! I did get somewhere. How about them apples? It stuck is because of that. It was rust welded. You know what I mean? Moisture gets on it, and it welds itself with rust to the drum. Don't worry. It'll probably do it again one day. All right, I'll replace you guys. Let's move you somewhere else. We're going to start with the front. All right, folks, so in the previous video, you may have seen me do the ball joints, hubs. Now we're going to move on to the suspension. So that video was not without problems. I ended up having no storage. My battery was dying on my phone. Smashed my finger. All fun things, right? So now we're going to move on to the suspension, but this time I hope the video quality is good. I have to use my work phone because I just don't have the room for all the work I'm doing this weekend, and I'm not going to miss out on videoing it for you guys. You guys are important to me.
mainly because you'll eventually make me money whenever I get enough likes and subscribes and all that fun stuff. Oh, and views. Gotta watch them. So, hopefully, I can get this to work right for you guys. Do the video of the suspension work. We're gonna start with the front, move to the rear. Let's go. Okay, so step one, gotta remove that nut. That is your track bar. The track bar is what tracks the vehicle front axle from side to side. So we're gonna take that off. It is a 16 mil. And just because I have it, we're gonna be fast and use. Air tools. And of course, the bolt wants to stick. So we're going to work on getting that out. In the interest of saving all of my memory on this phone, I want to stop the video and I'll show you what it looks like with it off. Alright, so this is a slide hammer. You can hook it on the bolt. Of course, this bolt is too big for the piece that I have. Of course. But the idea is that you can hook it on the bolt with that and boop, slide it off. So I'm going to try to get a hook on it and whoop, almost hit you guys. Good gravy. Alright, so I changed it up and I'm using a different connection. I also noticed that the track bar kind of twisted and that's why it wasn't letting go. But now, it's starting to go. This is the setup. So this grabs the bolt on each side and puts tension with the threaded portion. I can only imagine how fun it's going to be to put this back in. And this is a cheap one, this is a cheap tool. There we go. Okay. Threads look like they're still in good shape, so we're okay. Track bar bolt. Track bar nut. Backer thing. Now we're going to take this all off. And the next step is to disconnect the sway bars. So what we're going to do is at the top, this is the sway bar, okay? Controls the side-to-side motion of your Jeep, and this is the sway bar end link. At the top is a bolt. We're going to take those off on both sides. With those off, we'll be able to move the sway bar up and out of the way, allowing the axle to drop even further. Whenever you are going off-road, what you want to do is disconnect the sway bar so that you have full suspension travel on your vehicle. That way, when you go over rocks and stuff like that, you maintain contact with the ground. Maintaining contact with the ground makes for a better time. That looks to be a 15 or a 16. 16. Well, that's not grand. I broke the sway bar. Well, it looks like I'll be getting new sway bars. Oh, it is rusty. It is in bad shape. Okay. Let's go see if I can break the other side. Fantastic. Okay, so the other side came off. As you can see, it is lying over there. With this side broken, I'm going to have to replace it. Sorry guys, I'm moving you around a little bit. Okay, so with this side broken, I'm going to have to replace the end link because it's toast. That being said, I'll probably just replace both of them. You know, if you got to replace one, might as well replace the other one. That one was super sticky. The bolt was physically hot trying to get it off, so I think it's going to be the right thing to do of just replacing both of them. So let's move on to the next step. All right, so our next step is to remove the cotter pin and the castle nut from the drag link, and then we're going to strike the pitman arm to release the seat and let the drag link drop so that we can finish working on the axle. I'm telling you guys, it's not as hot as it was yesterday, but it is still humid. But with that sway bar end link breaking, I mean, if you look at this one, the threads are marred on it. It's the right thing to do is replace both of them. But with that broken, this is definitely going to be 2 days, guys. I'm sure my arm is a nice view, guys, but you know, you do what you gotta do. These pliers are doing the work, but they're not quality. You know what I mean? They have not liked the abuse I've put them through today. Let's see if I can not hurt myself here. I don't know if I'm making any headway or not. Yes! Haha! Success! It's my only MF option. Thank you, Eminem. Failure's not. Okay, let's get that off. Alright, so I got it finally. I had to actually get my... Sorry, I keep hitting the camera, it's close quarters. I actually had to get my impact and shove it up here and angle it and get it on top of the bolt after it was heated and lubricated, penetrated, all the things numerous times. Probably about 30 minutes worth of work just get this one bolt. And that's frustrating because that's time. But while I had to sit down and think about it, I did find that AutoZone, of all places, has 2 sway bar end links in stock with bushings. There's one in Lebanon, one in Cookville. Probably Lebanon. Cookville's going to be about an hour drive. Lebanon probably about 30 minutes or so. So I guess the wife, when she gets home, she'll relax a little bit, and if she wants to, get out and get it today. If not, then tomorrow. Because, like I said, this is going to be a 2-day event. So tomorrow we should have those things. Alright, now that that is loosened up a little bit, we want to make sure that the nut stays on top of it. We don't want it all the way off. This is such an awkward position. You know, all the YouTubers out there, they say, oh yeah, you know, YouTubing is fine. It's not hard to do. The problem is not the doing the YouTubing part. Problem is making sure you guys get a video, making sure it looks good and you all can see everything, you know. All right, so we leave a couple threads on there. We gotta move the cord for the phone because, you know, it's dying, of course. It's my work phone. I never try to charge it or anything. Okay, so we're gonna remove the drag link now. You strike the pitman arm right here, and that vibration causes a shock to where this will let go. Maybe. There it goes. Okay. Now they do that, you put the nut on there just so it doesn't drop real fast. You don't want it to do that. Okay, castle nut's back on there. Now our next step, I do believe, is to remove the spring clip retainers. So, oh geez. This side now has the sun on it, so it's nice and bright, and y'all can see things. All right, so see that bolt right there in the bright sunshine? That is a spring clip retainer. What it does is it holds on to the coil spring. See how it's wrapped over the top of it right there? So we're going to take that dude out. Okay, so I found what I needed. It is a size 13. And we're going to try first by hand, probably unsuccessfully. Okay, making sure it's going the right way, you know. That's kind of how the cookie has crumbled so far today. Oh, wow, nice. It let go. That's amazing. Can't tell. It's been a fight. So when one just lets go, I'll take it. Now I was going to use a bunch of air tools, but it rained on my air compressor. So I'm only using it sparingly because it's wet and it's an electric air compressor. Which, let me tell you, oilless air compressors are loud. They're getting better. The one we have in our office is a Fortress. That dude's kind of quiet. Mine is not. You can hear it actually over here whenever it starts up. Over there. Because right now it's, oh geez, hand cramps. So my hand is cramping and it's not letting go, so that's fun. But the air compressor is about 180 something feet away and I can still hear it. So it's kind of loud. So it is what it is. Okay, now we're gonna go to the other side and we're gonna do the same thing. Okay, so now the next step is to remove the shock. The other the other spring clip on the other side is taken off, and then now we have to remove the bolt and nut combo holding the bottom of the shock on, and of course I'm sitting on the air hose. That's fun. There we go. I already went ahead and took off the other side, kind of test and see what all I needed to do. I am using the air hose. goes because my hands are cramping. I think it's a sign I need more water. And that's a million times faster. So the cramping hands and the speed at which that was, yeah, let's use some air. Okay. This side I had to use an extension because it's a little deeper in there. Oh, now you just sit on there, okay? Just do it. Okay. That's not grand. On to this. Okay, yeah. And there we go. Shocks are out of there. Well, the bottom mounts are. Oh, and be sure, should have told you earlier, support your axle. Because as you start taking these things apart, your shocks were your limiting after you took your sway bars out. You know? These things kind of hold it all together. You know what I mean? So that's loose now. We move on to the next part. All right, let me get the tools and everything ready for that. I'll be right back. Okay, so the next step, we need to loosen this. Don't take it out all the way. Just loosen. Because the other side, we're going to take it out. And the reason being is you have to take out the lower control arms in order to let the axle drop enough. But you don't want to take it out completely because it's a big pain in the butt. You know what I mean? Okay. So, big boy on reverse. This is a 21 millimeter. Oh, there I am hitting stuff again. As I was hoping it wouldn't do. I only have one 21 millimeter size socket. And I have to put a nut on the other side. Or put a bolt on a wrench on the other side. Adjustable wrenches because they always seem to let go in the most inopportune time. Of course, cheap. But I had a good one and it disappeared. You know how that goes. You get nice things and they just don't stick around. Okay. Okay, let's go. Okay. That's loosened enough. Let's move you to the other side and let's do the same thing on the other side, but that side we're going to take it off. All right, hold on. All right, we're on the other side. And like I said, this one is going to come off completely. It's a constant dance, back and forth, back and forth. One side and the other side. Sounds like a really terrible song. Come on now. There we go. All right, here we go. Ah, jeez, I'm correct. All right. That is off. I'm sure it's hot. Yep, it's hot. So, now that the bolt is out, I'm sorry, the nut is out of the bolt, I have to get that out, and I have a feeling it ain't gonna be an easy task. Because when I did this with my YJ, now granted, the YJ was a full swap over, so a little different situation. But when I did this with the YJ, I had to tap the bolts to get them out for other parts, and then my punch got in there, and the punch stayed. So, yeah. Okay, so that's almost out. But we're going to be working on this side and doing this side, and then I will finish it up and then move over to the driver's side, but I'm not going to video it because I'm limited. Okay? So, there's our lower control arm bolt. Lower control arm is free. Now we lower the axle down, and that should allow the spring to let go, and it should allow enough droop for me to put the new coil springs in, and then we'll do the clip, and I'll get this out of the way, and we'll put the new shock in too. So, axle has been lowered. Here's a little bit better view of what we're looking at now. Old spring. New spring. Not much taller, but a little bit. It is beefier though, so that's the big thing. Okay, so I also have bump stops that I need to put into there. They're tough to get in apparently. So we're going to grease that, see if we can get it in.
Make sure to like and subscribe.